but he always pushed the feeling away, ignoring it. How was he supposed to get his work done if he was always looking over his shoulder? The transport teams were still in the early stages of laying tracks to move men and equipment in, rubble and dirt out. For now, the only way to access the system was on foot. Stanley followed a string of electric bulbs festooned against the arching brick wall. Licorice black snaky wires supplied the juice that gave them their power, bringing light to the subterranean gloom. Looking ahead was dizzying, as if you'd tripped and fallen down a bottomless well. Sound echoes in tunnels. They're usually loud places, drills and jackhammers chewing away. But this morning, aside from his own footsteps, the pipe was silent, eerily so. He realized he hadn't seen a single worker yet. Where was everyone? Probably deeper inside, he thought, where the excavation was happening. Stanley increased his pace, convincing himself it was the humid air making him sweat so much. The papers claimed the killer lived in the pipes, or at least the creep was using the system to move around the city undetected and to dispose of a growing number of dead bodies. 3 confirmed victims to date. Same method of murder, similar patterns left behind. Each of the deceased was found floating in or around the sewers. 1 woman, 2 men. All the victims had their necks wrung. Once they were knocked out, the strangler made an incision in their throats. The fiend bled them to death. Some said the murderer must be a disgruntled doctor. The cuts might have come from a scalpel because they were precise and well-placed. The killer understood how to throttle victims without killing them, so that their blood was still pumping. No one knew the reason for stealing the blood, except the murderer. That only made the crimes worse. Because where facts failed, rumors grew, multiplying like mushrooms in the seepy dark. The newspapers didn't help, coming up with their monster of the sewers. News stories stirred the pot. People cooked up private theories about the mysterious bloodsucker. It was a mad scientist who needed fresh blood for experiments, or there was a giant South American bat that stowed away on a ship and escaped from the docks. The bat flew into the underground pipes to roost and feed. Cannibals, goblins, demons, evil spirits, witches. Hogwash. Stanley shook his head. He felt a stab of pain in his neck. That came from hard labor, not spooky campfire tales. As if there weren't enough real ways to die down here, they had to make things up for people to dread. Curse this loose talk of demons. The strangler, they said, was beastly strong, inhuman, leaving people with their skulls twisted the wrong way around. Stanley recalled an afternoon not too long ago, when a crew discovered a pale corpse floating in the muck. He hadn't seen it himself, but the work was shut down. There'd be no pay for the rest of the day. The cops marched in like invaders. The sewers were his turf, not theirs. He didn't welcome trespassers, real or imaginary. He'd heard the police were alarmed by the unusual condition of the remains. The men in blue went so far as to take down all the sewer workers' names. They made a list. They even questioned a few crewmen who'd been to jail a time or two for violent offenses, hinting the killer might be a lowly digger, someone like him. Stanley fumed at that. "I'm no criminal," he told Lena that night. "I earn my bread." He'd pounded his fist on the table. Lena had touched his arm gently.
"It's wrong of them to make you feel guilty."
"Every type of foulness ends up in the sewers," he said. "You can't imagine